joined with Lisa.
Ooh, hi. And Andrew.
Thank you. I was wondering if that would be reciprocated.
Awkward silence.
We'll cut it out. We'll cut it in post. You just fired right in there. So, Lisa, it's ridiculous.
What is? What? Tell me all about it.
I made Japanese curry, and it's like so good.
Really?
It's so good. I made it with winter melon and mushrooms.
Melon
like
mushroom.
It was like you could also make a katsu with it, like a pork katsu. I didn't even do that, and I'm licking the plate right now. Like, it's so good. It's so good.
Okay, so katsu, for people who don't know, is like a crispy cut of meat, right? It's like fried food. Like, what do you?
Yeah, it's usually like a flattened piece of meat. You'll usually use like a meat mallet and get it real flat, and then it's breaded and fried. So it's kind of it's really just like it's a fried.
So is it?
We call it, I guess, deep fried meat, but
yeah, it's kind of like
thin,
like a chicken parmesan, but without the parmesan.
Yeah, it's just the breading.
Yeah. So what you use, was it chicken or seafood of some kind?
I'm telling you, it was just the mushrooms and the winter melon. Well, and some standard vegetables like your carrots, your celery, stuff like that.
But the crispy part, that was the mushrooms?
Crispy? Oh no, there was a katsu option.
Oh,
that was part of the recipe, and I'm telling you, I didn't do it. It was still delicious.
Oh, I
see.
It was
still good.
I see.
Okay.
Okay.
Usually, you take out the main entree, the main meat. You're like, no, can't be done. No good.
Yeah. Okay. Got it.
But it is good all on its own. And I've not cooked a lot with squash.
Mm-hmm.
It's great.
I love squash.
It's delicious.
Yeah.
It's like once it got like that tender, because like I was cutting it up and I was thinking to myself, this is intense. This is some strong fruit. It was fighting me back. I was like,
okay.
Am I gonna chop off my fingers here? Because I'm having to hammer down on my knife just to get through the tough skin.
Oh, really?
And I had a sharp knife. It was literally a brand new knife.
What kind of squash are you cutting? I mean, squash.
The winter melon.
Oh, the winter melon. Oh, okay. I thought
winter squash, I guess.
Okay.
No, yeah, winter melon is winter melon is like a cantaloupe.
Right.
This is a winter squash.
I'm like, what? You're confusing me so much. So, okay.
Round and round we go.
Okay. So you're like, what color was it? What color was this squash?
Well, on the outside, it's like green with like a little bit of auburny, like orangey swirls in it.
Because there's different types.
Speckles.
Yeah, there's just different types. So I wasn't sure. There's like so many different types of squash. Okay.
Yeah, so it kind of looks like a pumpkin, but green, pretty much.
Okay. Yeah, I know.
Like a too ripe pumpkin.
All right, got it. So, so I think that one's called a kabosha.
Yeah.
Yeah, a kabosha squash. So, okay, so explain to me the difference between like an Indian curry and a Japanese curry.
Oh man, that's a good question. I wish I had an answer for you.
Oh, okay.
It is. I haven't made. Well, I did a long time ago make an Indian curry. I haven't made an Indian curry in a long time. I'll tell you, it did have the same effect of it. My kitchen smelled like it for a while, which is great because like it's great.
Right.
But yeah, that does tend to happen. But I know it uses a lot of the same stuff like gram masala and stuff like that. I guess maybe a little less like paprika kind of flavors. Let me see. Japanese curry versus Indian curry. So literally it just uses like Japanese curry powder is with less spices.
Okay, so
which spices? Who knows? But less. I guess it's the more efficient curry. You know how the Japanese are. They just made a more efficient
okay.
That's what
yeah. It's funny because we were just looking at videos of the Japanese Universal Studios. And I was like, that would be so fun to go to. And we were talking about just how the Japanese are kind of perfect for, well, I mean, we were talking about Universal, but it's kind of like that Disney-esque behavior or mentality where everything is perfect and they think about all of like the user interfaces of everything and how it can be, just a clean cut, efficient, like happy process. And that's how it looked at their Universal. It just seemed like they had everything how they wanted. Everything was in a specific organized way. Even the food was perfectly created. And I don't know. I was like, that would just be so fun to experience.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I don't know. That's very interesting that it's like a part of their culture to have that kind of stuff. Like I was watching a thing the other day about the New York subway system and general like public transport system versus Tokyo's, and it's just wild to see like the kind of efficiency that they have just in their like public transit system, like the kind of thing that is kind of a meme for Americans and in particular New Yorkers that is really run down. You know, there's like garbage all over the place and rats running through the subways, but meanwhile the Japanese actually operate with like less trains and smaller stations and transport way more people per day with like less stuff.
Right. Yeah.
Less equipment. And it's pretty amazing that they're able to operate that well. And apparently like they check their rails every night. Like after the trains start running, they send people down each tunnel and like inspect the entire track.
Wow.
And they like every year will take each train each year has to go through a process where it gets like completely deconstructed. Like they take all the seats and stuff out of it and like just give it a full clean and repair any parts that are damaged or like looking like they'll fall apart within that next year or within the next month.
Yeah, that's good because it can be really unsafe otherwise.
Yeah, it can. I mean, it's funny. You think, it's some kind of hazard to I don't know, like you're worried about like something happening with like a whole train full of people, but I saw something the other day where a guy it was sad, the guy died because he was so drunk when he was getting onto the bus that there was like a flange of metal that was hanging off that was like, I don't know, in disrepair I guess, and he caught his leg on it and he was so drunk that he didn't notice and he just like fell asleep on the back of the bus and bled out.
Oh my gosh. Wow.
Yeah, he was just that far gone that he just like was like, oh, I'll take a nap.
Oh, whoa.
It's too bad.
Yeah, that's insane. That is crazy.
So, you got to keep stuff shape.
Right. You got to pay attention.
Meanwhile, over here in America, people are just accidentally killing themselves.
Right. Fun, but you got to be a little reckless. You have to have some fun. You can't have everything like.
Well, that's another thing. I don't want to have to worry about that. Like if I'm getting drunk downtown, I'm like, let me be safe and make sure I take some other form of transit home. Yeah. And then you get got.
Right. But another thing in there, like that I've been following just a couple people on TikTok that have, things in my home that just make sense. And a lot of those things
I've been seeing a lot of that lately.
Yeah. And a lot of those things are from that, Japanese culture where like in their homes, they try to make their homes as efficient as possible and as clean and like, I don't know. And so I've actually purchased a couple of things. Like one of the things I bought that I was influenced by.
Tell me.
Not a lot of things, like only a couple things. And every single thing that I've gotten so far has actually been very helpful. So one of the things is this toothpaste dispenser. So you have toothpaste that screws into the top and then your toothbrushes hang on the inside and it goes on the wall. So your counter space is clear. And so like you take your toothbrush, and I personally have always done like, I have two different toothpastes. I have a toothpaste for my morning and a toothpaste for my evening.
Hang on, what's the difference? Is it mint?
Okay, so my toothpaste in the morning is a Crest. No, they're both the same. They're both minty. But that's
the thing for me. I feel really weird having a minty flavor going to sleep. I'm like,
oh, really?
This is awakening feeling. This isn't like a go to bed feeling.
Yeah, well, I will say, I guess my evening one is a little like less minty, but my morning one is like a Crest like whitening. It's really gonna clean. It's got like crystals in it, so it's really clean and deep. It's getting all that plaque that's been sitting on there for all night, blah blah blah. So it's kind of like my deep clean, that because every morning the first thing I have to do other than pee is brush my teeth. I cannot continue my day without a fresh clean mouth. So that's like a super
feels pretty off.
Yeah. So I have that one, and then in the evening I have like more of a native. It's like no parabens. It's very a clean. I don't know what it's considered, like eco-friendly. I don't know, whatever. It doesn't have a lot of dyes, and it's very clean toothpaste. And so I use that at night because it's going to pretty much be sitting on my teeth and in my mouth, like whatever, overnight. So I feel like I need to have it as not as toxic as possible, I guess. It just makes me feel better, I guess, doing it that way. But and plus it's not as strong, like you said, and it's just a nice Anyway, so this thing holds two different toothpaste. It's really mainly for a couple, so that like if they have two different types of toothpaste, they like. But I use.
Is it in the shape of a giant nose, and you squeeze it to squeeze out your?
No. It's like a square, and then it has so they screw on the top, and then it has this little thing that you press the toothbrush on, and then it dispenses the perfect amount of toothpaste onto your toothbrush. And it works perfectly, and so I use that.
Does it work mechanically by your pressure?
Yeah, it's by the pressure. So it's not like there's no electronics at all. I mean, like it's not battery powered or anything.
I feel like I would like if I had to press that hard, it would bend the bristles.
No, it presses like the tip of the toothbrush presses the lever, so it never even touches your bristles. Like the paste drops onto the bristles from above it. I don't know, but it's perfect. And
how do you load it?
You load it from the top. You screw the toothpaste on top of it, and then underneath is where you press the lever, and it somehow I feel like it sucks it out because it's like I think it's like a suction.
Oh, okay.
I'm not sure.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
How efficient is it? Like, do you get a lot left over in the tube?
Oh, you mean like when it's finished?
Yeah.
I've actually not gotten through an entire tube yet.
So you just bought it. Okay.
So yeah, I got it like a month ago probably. And it's been because I alternate between the two. I think it just it takes me a long. Yeah. So, but
wait, so it's got places for two of them, or did you buy two?
No, it has a place you could put two on there. So one container holds two. So I love it. It's really been very helpful. And then the other thing I got that I use.
Guys, check the affiliate link down below.
Oh yeah, I'll put it on my on the whatever description. And both YouTube and our chat, or like whatever it's called, description on the episode notes, I guess. Whatever, I don't know.
Link me.
Yeah, I'll link it. And then another thing I got was it's like these little grabbers that stick to the wall so that you can hang stuff. And I use it in my shower because
like suction cups?
It doesn't suction, it actually sticks onto the wall, but it has like 4 little knobs that are close together so that you can push stuff into it and it holds it. Oh,
can it hold like a towel? I think
it can hold a towel if you hang it on there. Yeah, I don't know. So that's 2 of the things. I don't know, but like stuff like that where I love organization. I love when things are clean and clear off the counter, and so I love following stuff like that. And I don't.
You have no idea.
I get tempted a lot, but
yeah, definitely. Like I feel like I get sucked into those product review. Like that's a whole umbrella of channels on YouTube that they make money basically by. It's really like a bunch of infomercials, but now in the modern age by influencers that actually speak genuinely about it and use the product and give it a review, and like you can really feel like you learn something more than just it being, here's a product and go buy it today, $9.99 or whatever.
Yeah.
But it's similar kind of thing because they're putting affiliate links and stuff, like they're getting their cut and stuff. So it's not like totally altruistic, and definitely like they'll say like, this company sent me this stuff, or this company is sponsoring today's episode or whatever. But I'm still like, okay, well, tell me what it's about.
Yeah. I'm not opposed to it. Yeah. If it's going to help me, sure. Yeah, but I'm very selective on the things that I do get. Like I really analyze, is this really going to benefit me? I try.
Here's the thing, because I've been, the house is wrapping up, okay? We're putting the floors up.
Yes, talk about their house.
Dude, the floors, nice. The grout line, so thin.
Oh, nice.
And I had a little hiccup. There was one little tile. This is one of those things that gives you a little bit of a palpitation.
Uh-huh.
You walk in and the whole floor is down. Right in the center, there's like one tile that's sticking out.
Oh, no.
Like half on.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, no. Like, how do you fix that? Like, it's right in the middle of all the tile. But no, the guy was like, I know how to fix it. So he fixed it. And it's nice and flush now.
Cool.
So yeah, that was one issue, but now it looks excellent. It's all like wood looking tiles, so looks like floorboards. I mean, it's like you got those super thin grout lines, so you can barely tell.
Very cool. That's really awesome.
But it's durable. It's good. Don't have to worry about spilling stuff on it. But because everything is coming together, right?
Uh-huh.
And we we've been stuck on the couch, watched TikToks of soccer moms organizing their kitchens.
Oh,
like,
yes.
this is our new addiction. Like, we're just sitting in here like, show me. Like, there's a million TikToks of moms just like stocking their fridges and their pantries and stuff like it's a grocery store. Like, they have rows of like every product they use.
Yes.
And they go like 3 items deep. So you grab one and there's one slides up right behind it.
Yes.
And you're like, wow, look at that efficiency. Look at how much like availability there is. And then I look at their fridge for a second. I'm like, wait a minute. Where do they like ever put any food they cook or anything?
Right. Like what is this, a grocery store? I know. I've seen those too. Yeah. And I'm like, oh, that would be so satisfying. But I would never do
this
it.
mom is completely reliant on Uncrustables.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, also they like the amount of stuff. Like, if as a kid, if I had that kind of requited access to that amount of Reese's, they would be gone every day. Like, I'd be like, Mom, I ate all of the Reese's cups. Please replenish them.
Like the snack sections, that they do where they stack up, like the cookies or like the Reese's or whatever it is. Yeah. It's like, what? I
saw one that was how I got into this was this is the first time we've really like owned our fridge, and because we normally rent.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I never thought about this, but can you like replace the shelves with like more utility kind of stuff, like drawers maybe, or like other kind of stuff? And so I've been looking into like different kind of gadgets and stuff that work with the fridge, and that's kind of how I got down this rabbit hole. But you know how they have those trays that hold like a dozen eggs, so you can just like set them in the tray rather than have them in like whatever carton. Then one of the moms, instead of using it for eggs, she filled it with Kinder eggs. I was like, oh my god, like,
who are these kids that are getting like full access to anything that they want? It'd feel like a dream come true.
I know. How could you not? How would that Kinder egg tray not be completely empty by day one?
Oh man, that'd be really fun for like a holiday or something. Like, say on Easter, the kid comes down and like opens up the fridge for breakfast, and everything in there is just Easter themed, and they're like, oh yeah. Oh.
That would be cool for like one holiday. I feel like Halloween. Well, no, Halloween and the fun is getting the candy.
Yeah.
So yeah, I guess Easter. That's the other candy holiday. Like,
pretty much, or I guess Valentine's Day.
But again, like Easter, you want to. Well, I guess at a certain age, like I don't know, because you want to like be able to do the hunt, right? It's like, hey, I have a whole welcome to the candy aisle.
Right.
Get what you want.
But that's a good point. I've never thought about actually rearranging or like replacing the fridge shelves for more efficient design, because it is true that it's frustrating sometimes when you kind of have to work with what you have in there. And with ours specifically, I don't know why, but the way our shelf is, it has this it has the glass part, and then at the very end where it faces you, there's like a ridge, and there's times where we reach in and we've actually both cut our finger because we've like scraped the bottom of it, and it's very sharp. So I'm like, maybe I could, now you're making me think, like maybe I can rearrange my fridge. And is that possible? You said you looked into it. So is there like an option to do that?
Honestly, I could have done it, I feel like, before I had my own fridge. A lot of them are like addition kind of stuff. So you can, a lot of the things I like is to kind of use more of the vertical space, because, a lot of the times you'll have stuff like set on a shelf and there's a lot of space above the items.
Yes.
So you have like things where you can basically attach drawers underneath each of the shelves. So you have, and things can also lay, horizontally at that point, so they kind of compact a little better. And then there's a lot of containers and stuff that are sealed, so you can put in like just your fresh fruit and veg without having to like have them in another bag. Or one of my favorite things is the ones for stuff like fruit that it has the 2 trays, so you can have, or especially for like spinach, because it gets like soppy at the bottom.
Yeah.
And so like you can put it in this thing that has a strainer basically under it, so constantly like any moisture that gets in there will run out the bottom.
Oh yeah, that'd be nice. But is that just like a container that you buy separately and then you put it in the fridge?
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff that's just like, the kind of stuff that you can buy as like their own standalone thing. But some of them are solutions that are like built into the to the drawers. Like some of them have like, different kinds of subdividing systems. Like the egg thing, like you can obviously just get one of those by itself. I
wish I used eggs enough to use that. I've always seen the people do that, like take their eggs out of the carton and put them and like things. Like I always think I'd rather just leave them in the carton for two reasons. One, I just don't buy eggs like that, like enough of them. I don't use them that often. But also, when I do use them, like one good thing about having the container is you can put the opened egg on the container and then throw it away,
Oh, yeah.
Like,
it's like a little holder for it.
Yeah.
So you get because it's all runny with egg afterwards.
Right.
So don't want to put it on something you have to clean again.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't know. I mean, I guess obviously there's workarounds. It's not like the end of the world, but I don't know. I've just never been able to justify it.
My fridge, this is kind of what I was hoping I would find more of is like my fridge has one of the trays or one of the shelves is kind of a tray that is like a drawer. Like you can actually pull it out. Like it rolls out like a drawer. So you can like access things further back.
Right.
And I thought that was really cool, but it's only one of the shelves in my fridge.
Oh man.
So I was like, can I buy more of these and just have all of them be that way?
Exactly. That's what I would want. I really love to compartmentalize things. So I would love the ability to compartmentalize so many different things in the fridge, but also be able to access it. Because I see sometimes when I see those organizational videos and stuff, like they're always in containers or things like that. But then I think, but then I have to take the whole container out and they're not as accessible, I guess, sometimes. So I'd want it to be compartmentalized, but also accessible. So I don't know. But now you're making me think about organizing my fridge. It's increasing the serotonin at every second.
You're like, let's go. Let's go cut our hands on that ridge.
I know. I need to get rid of those shelves. They're so annoying. But for Christmas, our older brother, Tim, he bought me these containers for like clear containers. And so I did finally organize my like baking shelf, whatever it's called, like cabinet. So I could have a clear containers for like my flour and my sugar. And it's so it makes me happy every time I open that cupboard. I'm just like, everything's like labeled and clear and I could see. So
yeah, the one thing that is like when I watch these videos sometimes, I wonder if it almost becomes harder sometimes to get at some of the products. Like there's a lot of white powder products and it's pretty easy when you know like what brand of flour you got and like what kind of bag it comes in to just like at a glance grab it.
Sure.
And like maybe like making it so homogenous, even though it looks really nice, is like actually less efficient because you're like, wait, which white powder thing do I need?
I can understand. So yeah, sure. I mean, I do have them labeled, but I understand that. And plus, like I can tell, I don't really technically have to, like you said, like you can tell the powdered sugar from the crystallized sugar from the flour, from the almond flour, from, whatever. But it's nice to have them labeled. And the only downside I would say for me for those is like most of the time you either don't have enough space for the entire bag that you bought. So now you've filled it and you still have this extra, you still have the bag that you don't want, but you can't throw it away because it's, it's still got product in it. So then you just stuff it. Then now you have two things in your cabinet when you would have only had the one thing. So
yeah, I'm thinking of having an area because this is one of the nice things about, first moving into a place. So I can like build it from the ground up.
Yeah.
I was thinking about having like, I have one of those, like as a corner cabinetry. I feel like everybody has this where there's that weird like awkward corner cabinet that is like really deep and vacant, but it's like the worst thing to put stuff in because it's like so deep and it goes even into like it's like kind of trapezoidal shapes. So it goes off into the corners and so you can't even like see everything that's in there. So you have to like rifle around to get anything. So we have a couple of those and obviously they hold a lot of stuff. So I was wondering if I would just use that as like your backlog,
like your overflow,
all those kind of like overflow bags and stuff. And then like if I'm out of flour or whatever, I'm getting close, I can be like, oh, is there a like half-used flour bag over here?
Yeah, that's a good idea. I do have kind of an overflow cabinet, but I don't know if you have this problem or not, but we've developed a problem with keeping like sauces from like restaurants and stuff that we get.
Oh yeah, you gotta have sauce.
I hate it, and I don't know what to do about this issue because I don't typically use them, and it's just like, and there's no way to know if they're bad or not because they only last a certain amount of time.
Right, they don't like put an expiration usually because they're like, what do you mean? Like, why do you have this a year later?
I'm like, how long have we had this? Can I throw this?
They're like, you can come ask us for one anytime.
Exactly. I'm like, why do we keep these? It's so annoying. Because, like, I guess there's always that one instance where they don't give it to you, and you're like, oh, I wish I'd kept it. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Anyway, but anyway.
And then there's also sauces that are great, but you prefer other stuff from other restaurants, but you want to use the sauce from like the Chick-fil-A sauce on the McDonald's chicken nuggets. Too good.
Never tried that. The only sauce for McDonald's chicken nuggets is sweet and sour sauce. That's it. If you're using anything else,
stop selling that at some point.
I hope not. I mean, I haven't gone there in a while, but
I used to always get that as a kid. Like, that was my go-to. And then I feel like I switched to honey mustard for a long time. And then I was feeling nostalgic. And for a while, I was like, hey, can I have the sweet and sour? And they're like, we don't have that anymore. And I was like, what?
No.
How do you not have it anymore?
That is the sauce. They could.
When was the last time you got chicken nuggets?
I cannot even remember. But if they got rid of that, I mean, not that I could say, I can threaten, you're losing my business because clearly.
You're losing my potential future nostalgic business.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it's so frustrating because I feel like every single thing that I ever love about a restaurant or something, like, they always get rid of what I like. And Mike always makes fun of me because he's like, it's because you like the most obscure things. And I'm like, no, but it's so good. Like, I can't be the only one.
You're a fringe human, Lisa.
I'm a fringe human. That's right.
You live on the edge and you don't apologize.
That's right. But
you do beg. Don't take away the sweet and sour.
Please don't take away.
Don't do
also, at Taco Bell, I loved their mango tea they had. And they got rid of that. And I was like, how? How could you possibly? That was like sometimes the only reason I would go there. It was the only thing drawing me in. I was like, Taco Bell. But they have the mango tea, so I'm going. And now there's really just no, there's not a big enough draw for me now, It's sad.
What's wrong with the Baja Blast?
Also, no.
What?
No, that's disgusting.
What do you mean?
There's not even a comparison. Isn't Baja Blast a carbonated drink?
Yeah.
Okay, well, either way, no. Can't.
Okay.
I don't even know how to respond to that.
You're like,
I am insulted.
How about the Manzana Sol or whatever?
I don't know what that is.
Apple soda? They have an apple soda.
They do? I've never had that.
Yeah, it's pretty good. I like it a lot, actually.
An apple soda?
I almost never get it, but...
Okay, well...
I feel like every time I remember that they have it, I'm like, oh yeah, I'll get it.
I didn't know they had that, but maybe if I'm tempted to go back one other time, I'll try it. But another place that got rid of something I loved was PDQ. Have you ever eaten there? It's yes. like a chicken place, I guess it would be called.
That's another place you could take your Chick-fil-A sauce.
Right. Yeah. But I don't eat. The only thing I ever got there was they had it was a bowl and it was like rice and pineapple and chicken, and it was like a I forget what they called it. It was like
Polynesian chicken bowl.
Something like that. I don't know, but it was so good. And the sauce they put on it was like a mango, it was just so good. It was like chicken and rice and vegetables and fruit and like tropicals. I don't know. It was so good. Anyway, and then they got rid and it had coconut on top, and it was like, I think the chicken was actually cooked in like this coconut batter or something. It was so good. And anyway, they got rid of that, and I was like,
what's the point?
My protest. I protested. I wrote them a letter.
You picketed?
I picketed. I told them I'm not coming back until you bring it back.
Oh my.
I was very passionate about them taking it off because they always do this to me. I fall in love with something and then they just destroy it. So anyway, the guy did actually respond to me and I felt kind of bad about it because I was like...
He's like, I'm so sorry.
Like an actual person reached out to me and he's like... we have a lot of other things and we really hope that we can make it better, make it up to you by, you finding something else that you really love. And sorry about, they were very nice about it, but I was like, I'm sorry, but you really got to bring it back. It was so good.
Like, stop diffusing my anger.
Yeah.
I need to be angry. You need to take this. This is your punishment.
But I still have no.
He's like, really? We have some people you can talk to if you still feel messed up by this.
Yeah, it's true. I was hoping I wouldn't be the only one. I'd hope, remember when they took out potatoes from Taco Bell and then they brought them back because so many people were outraged?
Yeah, that was so weird. They were just like, nah, we're gonna stop doing potatoes, which was an interesting. I mean, okay, fine, but how hard can it be to procure potatoes and do that whole process?
I don't know.
They just like cut out a whole bunch of menu items because they integrated it quite well into because I think they originally got it for like their breakfast menu and stuff.
So
maybe. I don't know what they were doing with their breakfast menu once they got rid of the potatoes, but either way, it apparently didn't work. All came crashing down.
That's true. They really can't, like, if it's working, I assume the reason they take things off is because not enough people order it. That's the only thing I can think. Like, what would be the motivation to remove it from your menu? Unless you're either going to try something else and you had to, like, say, well, we can't have all of these things, so we need to cut something. Let's cut the thing that's not making us the most money or whatever. From a business sense, I understand, and I guess, I have to support that, but it's really... Well, it's just confusing to me why I always pick the thing that nobody likes. I don't know. How could that be? But anyway, it's just it's just I guess it's a good thing that I adapt very easily to change, because otherwise I think I would have crawled into a ball and never come out of my room at this point. So
good. I'm glad you're self-aware enough to come out and see us sometime.
Yeah. So anyways, I have been trying this new energy drink lately, which I don't drink energy drinks that much. Like maybe like one.
Yeah, that was an interesting turn from mango tea to energy drink. You were like, "Oh, Baja Blast, is that a carbonated beverage? I don't do that."
Exactly. Like
energy drinks, though. Okay.
Well,
let's hear it.
Well, I mean, like once a week or so, like I'll have one. But I tried this one. It's called Alani. It's like an Alani. I don't know if that's the brand or if it was just the one that I tried. I think it
lasts you a whole week. Oh my gosh!
No, but like
stuff.
Like what I'm saying is, if I'm feeling really low energy, I'll have one, and it's usually around once a week where I just really need to pick me up, where like my B12 vitamins are not working.
Am I right?
Normally I do like a B12 vitamin every morning, but it doesn't always kick in. Like sometimes it just doesn't hit. So usually because I like don't sleep that night or something happens. Anyways, so I try to find this Alani energy, maybe because it's like mostly healthy, like it's natural and whatever. But they came out with this new flavor. It was like the tropical, what is it called? Let me see if I can find it. Oh yeah, Tropsicle.
Tropsicle?
Yeah. Oh, it's called Alani New. That's the name of it. Alani New. And it is so good. Like, you gotta try it. I mean, apparently they have lots of flavors. The first one I ever tried was Cosmic Astronaut. That's really good too.
That sounds intense. That sounds next level, let me tell you. I sound like I have to be in the future for that.
Right? It feels like you're in the future. It feels like you're drinking something from Mars. But
is it dusty?
I don't know. It's good.
Okay.
I recommend it. But I just had
try that out if I need a buzz, not a buzz, but a zip.
A zip a zing? A zip and a zing. Try
a buzzing in my ears, as it were.
Yeah. Speaking of Mars, actually, in space, have you seen the new what's it called?
I've seen it all, Lisa.
What's it called? The Starship that Elon Musk is putting up there. He's testing right now.
Oh.
It's his new like pet project that he's working on. So it's pretty incredible. It's basically like
when you call it a starship, it's like, wow, we're traversing galaxies.
Right. Well, essentially,
it's like the Uss Enterprise.
What it is it's like a spaceship, just like NASA's old spaceships that way they used to send up. But it's similar to that, but they're designing it so that it can go up and then come back and land like everything. Like right now when they go up, they, the boosters come back and land and they reuse the boosters. But he's trying to design one, like a whole ship that they can send up there and bring back. So he's done a couple tests and he finally was able to, it's just the prototype. So it's like very tin can looking, but he was able to actually like bring it. He didn't put it all the way in space, but he put it all, up to, I guess, like the atmosphere or whatever, and then like brought it back. And he was able
to put it all the way in space, but he put it most.
Yeah, he made at least one successful landing so far. So it was pretty epic. And
wow,
it's
okay. So how is it different? Like, I know the ones that he works on, like the Falcon rockets and stuff, like a big part of that was reusability. Like, what percentage are they at with the other rockets? Do you know? Like, because I know, like, they already have those rockets, that will like land on the barges, like they're self-landing or whatever. Yeah. So I wonder how much of a leap this is from that.
Oh yeah, I mean, well, the rockets themselves. Like it's not a full, I don't think he lands like the entire rocket. I think it's just like the booster part of the rocket that he lands. And then the rocket part that they ejected into space or whatever just burns up in the atmosphere and it's not reusable or whatever. So, and I mean, you can send people up there, but this is going to be like an orbiting, ship that you could put people in, you could put, stuff that you can transfer to a different station, like a space station or something, and then just bring it back and like reuse it over and over again. So, and I guess like his ultimate goal is to be able to design a ship that, he wants to colonize Mars, which is kind of where I was going. Right. And so he eventually wants it to be like a ship that you use to go to Mars and like come back, like back and forth.
The Starliner,
I guess. Yeah. So anyways, basically.
Would you go?
Yeah, I mean, like if Elon Musk designs it to its perfection that he does, I would do it. Of course, if I had the money, it's going to be like incredibly expensive to do that, but
and incredibly deadly for many years.
Yeah, well, his prediction is that we'll make it to Mars because nobody's actually, successfully been there. So, his prediction is that we'll make it to Mars. He says. Optimistically in 5 years and worst case scenario in 10 years, which is a pretty big claim or whatever. But
yeah, I feel like I'm already needing to plan my vacations that are 5 years from now.
That's true.
Like, it's not unreasonable for me to like start thinking, maybe I should start like looking into booking some stuff, what I want to do
10 years in the future.
Meanwhile, there's somebody out there on Earth that's like, I might be on Mars in 5 years. I don't know. We'll see.
I know it's crazy, but I've learned not to question Elon if he has a vision. I mean, if anyone can do it, it's him. And I just feel like, obviously...
I'm still waiting for the tunnels.
Right, true. I don't know. Like, just being... Like, I don't think it's going to be any, like, crazy things happening in 10 years, but just landing with, like, that's it. It's like step one. But who knows? We'll see. But yeah. But speaking of space and science and everything, we haven't talked about the James Webb Telescope. That went up.
That's because I won't talk about it. Ever since James and I had a falling out.
Oh man, I'm sorry.
I won't bring it up.
I forgot about your feud.
Yeah. I had a way better telescope that was going to map the deepest parts of our universe.
Did he steal your invention?
Well, he stole parts of it, and other parts he trashed on. So,
harsh.
The big solar sail, all the geniusness of this one, that was all me. And then the stuff that's like boring and stupid, that was him.
All the functional stuff, that was him.
All the functional stuff that's not important. We don't need to talk about it. It's not cool.
Right. Well, I'm sorry I brought up such a sore subject.
It's pretty cool, though. I mean, especially because I remember the Hubble like went out a little while ago, right? Didn't that happen?
The Hubble?
That it just like it stopped responding for a while, like a week or something, and they were like, "Uh-oh, I guess it died." And then then like suddenly it came back on, but yeah. Doesn't bode well for its longevity. So this one's a little more built for, the future.
Yeah, it's incredible, like what it can do and how far it can go. The farthest we've ever been, anyone's ever been. And the little, like each individual disc, like those honeycomb discs, it can move in, I think it's like 1 million different ways. Like it has so many different, like each individual one has so many different micro movements it can make. And it's all, like robotically engineered and everything. It's just like, just the technology. I mean, it took forever to get out there. So you have to assume it's going to be amazing, but I don't know. It's a pretty huge scientific breakthrough, and the fact that it made it and they haven't had really any failures except for they had one minor failure, but it was only because the only failure was that they didn't have the camera that to view the like a part of it that like its stage. So they were able to monitor on the computers, but they couldn't see it physically. But that was like the only failure, and it really wasn't a necessary component. So I mean, that's pretty incredible so far.
There's a failure just so they could say it wasn't perfect.
Yeah. But
because that would be unrealistic.
Right. Anyway, so that's pretty incredible, and I'm excited to see what it like the pictures that it comes up with and what we see. But yeah, that's news. That's the news of the No Kidding podcast for today.
It's super cool. I mean, I know like the Hubble had the I think a lot of like I had scheduled slots that people who were researching different things could access it during different times. Like I think like academic people and stuff could like schedule time with it to be able to like take pictures of different parts of space. I assume this probably works in a similar way.
Yeah, I mean it is it's crazy that it's able to be, you know, remotely accessed and stuff, but I think it is going to be like on a timer too, or it just like is constantly taking a picture or like some kind of but I don't know. I think they're just going to compile a bunch of different pictures together, but I don't really know. I just know it's going to generate some amazing images, so I'm excited.
I'm excited to download those like 85K photos to my phone and then fill the whole thing with a single picture.
Yeah.
But I'll be able to zoom in forever.
Yeah, that would be so cool to see. It's just like, I think that if you have any interest in time travel, you kind of have to be interested in space in some way. I feel like, right?
Yeah, I mean, for all those people that are trying to build time machines, like you gotta be into space.
Yeah,
come on.
I don't know.
What are you doing with your life?
What are you doing? Yeah. So speaking of space and stuff, I know that you have watched Expanse. Well, Mike is making me watch it. So we started
making you.
Well, I mean, like kinda. I mean, it didn't like twist my arm too much, but because I do like science fiction, I like whatever. But he's raved kind of about the show. He really likes it.
It's so good.
So he wants me to like fall in love with it too. So, but it's early days. We're only on like episode 3, I think. So, and it is kind of.
So what do you think so far?
Well, it was kind of like not hard, but drawn out, I guess, in some ways, because they're introducing the different storylines and stuff, and there's a lot of different storylines going on at one time. So, and I get it, but it's like at the same time, I kind of lose interest in one storyline, and then when they go back to and they flip around. So this is an issue that I have with things like, do you remember Mythbusters, for example? This is an example.
Okay.
So on Mythbusters,
very different kind of show.
They would have like 2 or 3 different experiments going on at the same time on one show.
Oh, and they would like in the later days.
Yeah, and they would flip.
They have a different build teams.
You're right. So then they would flip between like this, like, I don't know, I can't remember their names, but like the younger group. And then
Tori, Carrie, and Grant.
Yeah. It's so sad that one of them died, didn't they? Anyway.
Yeah, Grant O'Hara.
Yeah.
What a legend.
Yeah. But they would switch between like those storylines. They would be like, okay, this experiment, this is how this is going. And then they get to a point and then they'd switch back to the main guys and start talking, you know,
Adam and Jamie,
and they would start showing their, and it was really hard for me because I like to get consumed into what I'm watching, and then when they switch it like that, it really stresses me out, and I don't like it. And this show does that, so I'm just trying to hold it together. This is
very much a show that makes you feel like it brings you not into a story, but into a universe.
Yeah.
Like it brings you into a place that there's a million different things going on. There's a million different things at play and all affecting each other in different ways. And like you will start to see how, you know, elements of one story will cross over into another. And like you'll understand more about why something's happening to somebody else because of what you saw in another story, for example.
Right.
And
it'll all come together,
like
I guess.
being able to see like other parts of the universe as well, because there's stuff that's happening. Like people on Earth have a very different life than people in the belt, so to speak. So there's people that live like in the asteroid belt as like basically they live like miners, and they have been born in 0G, which means that they can't really go back to living on a planet because their bodies can't adjust.
Yeah, that was so weird.
There's people that live basically completely in space their entire lives and can't have like the lifestyle that like planet side people have, which is usually a bit more luxurious. But then there's also Mars, which is kind of in between the two because it's a much less like cultivated planet. It's not fully terraformed yet, but it does have the benefits of having like solid ground and being able to grow food and stuff like on the surface of it. So it's interesting to see all the interplay and how it all kind of works together.
And I do like that it's very realistic, like Mike and you were talking about the other day at Christmas or whatever.
Yes.
And I say Christmas, but I mean, like, it was January when we had Christmas, so wasn't it?
We had a very late Christmas.
Yeah. But yeah, I do like that. And I also like that it doesn't dumb the show doesn't dumb down for people like a lot of shows do. Right. It doesn't explain everything. It leaves you to sort of figure things out as it goes. And so you do have to really pay attention in order to remember, like, to piece things together. Because if you miss something and then later on something else totally doesn't make sense because you missed like something from before. But
right.
But I like that. I like because it's kind of almost like a puzzle in a way, and like not like a mystery, but yeah.
Because otherwise it's hard to get invested when you know that they're just gonna hand you all the pieces on the last episode. Like they're gonna be like, okay, so this is everything that's happened so far. This is the thing, and then this is the revelations that we're figuring out. Oh my gosh, is that crazy? Come back next season.
Right.
And it's just like, oh, okay. Well, I could have just watched this episode, really.
Yeah.
Like I think most shows, honestly, you could watch the last episode of every season and get a pretty good idea of what happened through the whole show.
Yeah. Right. So I do like that.
So this is much more like, I mean, you know, there's obviously like the recaps and stuff that happened in the beginning, so that helps, especially like with stuff that it gets. You say you're on like the third episode, but obviously like stuff continues to matter. Like there's stuff that you'll see in the first season that like say in season 3 will become relevant again, and it's nice when they do the like flashback and they're like, remember when this happened in season 1, just so you know,
because there's so much going on. I would forget, so it's good that they do that.
So
but
I love the realism because that's something there's such a dearth of in modern science fiction that's on TV at least, because it's just so expensive to, and this is a problem for The Expanse as well, but it's so expensive to actually do things in a way, especially in like a physics way, as they would happen in space. Like people float around in space, and you know, inertia is like much different than they do it in television shows just because it's convenient, you know?
Right.
Like, oh, a ship can fly up to a place and then stop. It's like, well, no, if you pick up that much speed, if you're flying at like light speed, you have to stop. Like there's some way you have to have some kind of opposite reaction to get yourself to a zero momentum state.
Exactly.
So,
and they do like,
and there's all sorts of other things like survival aspects that people don't think about. Like a lot of times in these kinds of shows where it's like, what if there's a puncture in your hull and the air starts leaking out? Like these are valuable resources.
Right. And also like how they do have to account for when they go into, you know, like 5G or something, like when they speed up their ship, they don't just like all just sit there. Like they have to strap in, they have to, you know, make sure that they take an injection to help stabilize their oxygen levels or something, you know, like they actually account for the fact that your body is going to have a reaction to going fast,
like
insane
speed, that like the amount of the speed it would take to, you know, traverse like Earth to Mars and within hours instead of like weeks.
Yeah.
You know, that's that kind of speed, like just to suddenly apply it to the human body is like a lot.
And another thing I also like is that they don't shy away from, because a lot of shows, they kind of solidify the main characters. And then you kind of in the back of your mind always know those main characters are going to be safe. Like no matter what happens to them in this show, they're going to survive because they're the main characters. However, in this show, that's not the case necessarily, because already they've killed off one of the main characters. So I'm like, oh, okay.
Or so you thought was
or
a
so
main
I thought
character.
was going to be a main
right.
character. So it's like nobody's safe at this point. I'm sure as the seasons go on, obviously there's certain ones where they're pretty safe. But yeah, it's kind of interesting.
I appreciate a show that like doesn't pull those kind of punches, because obviously, like, if you are trying to create a world where there's danger and stuff that like the characters are running into a situation that's uncertain, you're eventually going to lose that sort of feeling like, oh yeah, they're really worried that they're going to die because they don't know they're in a story where they're not going to die because we've invested so much into their characters that there's no way.
Right.
And so to have somebody like that, be killed somewhat unceremoniously because, hey, that's how life works sometimes. Right. Even though somebody has unfinished business doesn't mean they're going to make it till tomorrow.
Yeah. I mean, it's like a bittersweet thing because I appreciate it because it's kind of not realistic to think that these people are constantly getting into not an Expanse, but like any show, these people are constantly getting into like scenarios where anybody in any other real world situation, somebody would get sick, somebody would get hurt, somebody would die, and then they don't. And it's like at some point you lose, like you're like,
it's like, wow, these people are just amazing.
Yeah, like this isn't real.
Vulnerable.
Which of course it isn't real. I mean, it's an escape from reality, so it shouldn't be necessarily considered real or held to that expectation. But, it's kind of nice to know that there is that possibility in a show where maybe they won't be okay. Like, maybe something will happen.
There's like two ends of the spectrum of like, I don't know, like CW shows where, like, from the get-go, like, people might quote-unquote die in that show, but it's very few and far between, and they're usually very much like, this is the cast, and this will be the cast until season 25.
Right.
Versus something like Game of Thrones, where it's like, we're just going to kill someone for fun this episode.
Yeah, like...
because, hey, we got to keep things interesting, right?
That was, another show where nobody was safe, and I was like, okay. I didn't watch the whole thing, but I always thought like I would go back to it. I was like, oh, I need a break because that show is so intense. I was like, I need to take a little hiatus.
Perfect amount of intensity for me.
Okay. Well, I mean, it's like it's okay, but it's like at some point I was just like, that's the plus and the minus of having a show where you can binge. Because it's like I get really frustrated when I can't binge a show. When you only get one season or two seasons and then you have to wait a year to get the next season and you're like, ugh, that's so frustrating. So you love a show where you can binge it. But then when you have like 4 or 5 seasons of just constant at you, and you're like, okay, maybe I do need a break. Like maybe in this, maybe it's okay to take a little hiatus. Anyway, so I was planning on just taking...
one season on, one season off.
Yeah. I was trying to take a hiatus, but then I got, and then you get into something else, and then you get into another show, and then you get another show. So then it was like years, and then at one point I was just like, I guess I'm never going back to Game of Thrones. I guess I'm never going to finish it. Because at this point, I've kind of forgotten the lineage between all these different people, and I forget where I was left off, and so I'm scared.
Just start from the beginning. It's so good.
I'm kind of scared to get back into it because, well, see, that's another thing is like if I start from the beginning, then I'm going to get fatigued.
You're going to have to drop off.
I'm going to get fatigued at some point, and then
the same point.
Yeah, and I think that also happens with
a lot of people will say it's best if you don't finish it. A lot of people don't like the ending, but
oh, okay. Well, there you go. But yeah, that also happened with The Walking Dead. I watched like the first 3 seasons or something, and then I stopped. And then at some point I was like, it's too much to go back. It's like at this point, I just
yeah. I mean, when the shows also just keep going and keep going and keep going, and you're just like, oh man, well, yeah, I don't know. I can really appreciate a show that like decides to end, like that has a clear point that they're trying to get to and gets to it.
Yeah,
like Breaking Bad. I feel like is one of my favorite examples of that.
That was really well done. Yeah. Agreed. And Seinfeld too. I mean, a lot of people don't like the ending of Seinfeld, and it is kind of like weird, but I can respect that they chose to close it when it was at its prime. That's really hard to do. Like when the show is at its prime and like they still have a huge list. Like, I was going to say listenership, but like, I don't know what the viewership. There you go. And it's so popular. And then they're like, yeah, we're going to stop. It's like, what?
Yeah, it's like, wait, but no. And then so they have to come out with like Big Bang Theory just so that they can keep doing it.
I respected the fact that they just shut it down, and then now it's still one of the most, revered shows.
Yeah, I've been rewatching it actually. It's funny that you bring that up.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's been crazy. A lot of shows I'm watching recently. Like I watched through let's see, The Witcher had another season. Watching through Boba Fett. Attack on Titan just came out with another season.
Oh yeah, I have to watch that.
Just finished The Expanse's new season. I just watched the entire thing of You, if you've ever seen that. You.
Yes, I have.
The show You. Like, I feel like it's so confusing to bring that show up because people are like, who? Not you. The show You.
I stopped watching that show, to be honest. I watched season 1 and I think 2 and then 3. I watched like half of it, but I just couldn't watch it anymore. I was like, it was like the same.
3 was a very different kind of season.
Well, because he moves, right? Like he leaves and he lives somewhere else. That's the season where I stopped.
That happens in each of them. It's kind of almost like anthology, like in that way.
Well, it's where he's working in a bookstore, or not a bookstore. Sorry, like a health food / bookstore. Yeah,
that was season 2.
That's season 2. Okay, I guess I stopped at season 2. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it becomes a whole new show, but like basically the whole cast changes.
Yeah, and I think that's also what I didn't like about it because I couldn't connect with, I think, the new girl, and it seemed like the same story again, and I was like, I don't know.
Well, I'll tell you this, it's not
bored of it. I don't know. Like, okay, well maybe I should pick it back. I only watched like half of the season, and then I stopped, and I was like,
Okay. Well, yeah. There's also, I guess I don't want to get into it. Also, spoilers for anybody listening.
Okay.
But, so I don't know. I'll say that I was feeling like, okay, they're setting up like a formula for this show, and then they broke the formula, I would say.
Oh, okay. I'm okay with breaking formula. No,
it was
not
interesting.
against it.
I feel like I was almost baited. Like I feel like they were like, yeah, that's what this show is, and then they're like, or is it?
All right.
So
I do have a question though. Like, you have all this time to watch all these shows, but we haven't recorded in like 2 months.
Listen, I gotta get through my shows. Okay. I've gotta watch Attack on Titan.
I was gonna tell people like, oh, it's sorry. Like Andrew just had so much going on. He's renovating a house. He's got work. He's got a family. He's got dogs. Well, a dog and.
I've got a dog.
He's traveling. He's got a lot going on, and you come in with well, right now I'm watching. Okay.
Finished all these shows. Well, actually, I haven't watched Attack on Titan yet. In Demon Slayer, I haven't finished the second season, and I did watch. I haven't finished Boba Fett.
Boba Fett? What? Like, where is that?
And Seinfeld's that nothing show, I already have seen everything, so I can just put it on the background.
That's a lovely background show for sure. But it's actually...
Yeah, but it's
hard to...
It's the first time Lervin's singing.
No, really?
So she's watching it for real.
Okay. Well, see,
it actually took a little bit because, like, when you first get into it, after all this time, like, we have this nostalgia factor that keeps us there through the 90s hair. But she's in deep.
Oh, well, good, yeah. And I will say that it is a good background show, but at the same time, I have a really hard time, not, getting attached to it because there was a time where, I don't like going to sleep to shows. Like, it's not my thing. I like quiet. I like being in a dark room with, just the fan, that kind of thing. But Mike is very much I have to go to sleep with the TV on. So there's a couple times where we were, camping, so to speak, out in the living room. And so we would watch a show, and because that's what he likes to do, and fall asleep, and he would always watch Seinfeld.
Oh, like pillow forts?
Yeah, we were just sleeping on the ground, whatever.
Nice.
It was fun. But the Seinfeld thing was what he wanted to go to sleep to. He normally if we ever watch anything, I'm out. I'm the first person to fall asleep. I'm dead. But for whatever reason, when we had Seinfeld on, I would be up till 2 a.m. and I'm like, no, I can't do this. I have to. We have to put something else on.
Fall asleep to this?
Yeah, I just can't. It grabs my attention too much. So it can't be really that much of a background thing for me, but
it's so fun to watch because obviously Lervin knows Seinfeld, knows about all the memes and stuff.
The gifts.
And it's funny to see her be like, yeah, it's a show about nothing, and then she watches the episode where they're just in a parking garage for the entire episode, or the episode where they're just waiting for a table at a Chinese food restaurant for the whole episode, and she's like, it really is a show about nothing. And I'm like, yeah, and then you get it now.
And then they actually recreate that in the show to pitch the show in the
yeah, right. Yeah. Exactly. That was their example. And they're like, what is this show about? And then it becomes meta.
Yeah, that's great. But yeah, so speaking of Demon Slayer, I don't know what time it is and how long we've been talking, but that is a show that I have just been here. I've heard so much about. People keep recommending it. And
it's pretty new. It's pretty fresh. It's pretty good.
Yeah, like I'm not sure. I don't really know much about it, but it's so popular. So I'm like, do I need to watch this show? I guess so.
You should. Yeah, I totally recommend it. It's a really great show.
Okay. So it's like, I mean, I really liked Attack on Titan, and that was highly recommended. So I'm guessing this one will too. The next thing that somebody recommended and said was really good was The Promise Neverland. I haven't heard that yet, but it's an anime. It's The Promise. I thought it was The Promised Land, but it's The Promise Neverland. The Promised Neverland. And that's supposed to be like the next thing I watch, but I'm thinking Demon Slayer might need to happen because it's just...
Well, when you watch Demon Slayer, just remember this one thing, Lisa.
What?
I'd carry you across Japan on my back.
Oh, thanks. I will remember that, and then it'll kick in as like either I'll loathe you or I'll love you.
You'll be like, hey, wait a minute.
Yeah, but actually, like,
no, it's nice.
Bringing this full circle, when we were talking about Japan and how they have Universal, they have a Demon Slayer like land there.
Oh yeah,
in Japan. So like,
wow, that's fast.
Yeah. So I'm like, obviously this show is popular enough to actually have a
oh man, that must be a lot of pressure for the showrunners. It's only on season 2.
Yeah. Well, actually, speaking of, they also the reason we started watching this YouTube thing about Universal was because they have Nintendo Land, or like retro Nintendo. So it has like Mario and I don't know what else, but whatever. I think
sounds dope.
It might even just be Mario. I don't know. But anyway.
It's just Mario Land.
I don't know.
Not even Luigi Land.
Get out of here. I mean, Luigi's definitely there. But anyway, they're back to your haunted
whatever
they have there in Japan about Mario and whatever, they're bringing to Universal Orlando. So they're going to build it here. So we were looking to see what it was like in Japan. So we see what it was going to be like here. It's Mario World. That's what it is. I guess it is Mario. So it's no, it's Super Nintendo World. That's what it is. Super Nintendo World. So
can I play like Mario Party but full size?
They have rides where you're like riding in, I guess, the world. I don't know. Like you sit inside of like Yoshi or something and you go. I don't know. Whatever. But also, like, one cool thing about it was they had like the food that they have there, because the food is like they had like a little turtle, which was like a turtle shell that was a calzone, but it looked like a turtle shell. But it was all these really cute foods that were related to Super Mario, and like, I don't know, it was interesting. But that's why we started watching it, because they're bringing it here to Orlando, I guess. So should be interesting.
Sounds like it'll be fun.
Yeah. So that was full circle, guys. Sorry,
Can we wrap that one up? Merry Christmas. Oh no, wait.
Happy New Year.
Happy Valentine's Day.
There you go. If it's not passed by now, who knows? I don't know when this will go out.
This will be our Valentine's Day episode. This is episode 11, everyone. Hey, I love you, audience.
I love you.
And also, Lisa.
Oh, thanks. Spread the love. We love everyone. We'll see you next time.
We're also...
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, goodbye, everyone. We're also leaving everyone, so it's kind of a double-edged sword, huh?
Sorry. Not leaving forever, though. We'll be back soon. Get it?
I love you, that's why I say cheerio, not goodbye. Remember our old tune, be back soon.
That's the sound of the Discord hanging up. Did I do a pretty good job?
Yeah, I think you did. It sounded very, whatever. Just very, very, I love you, bye-bye.